give us somewhere between 18 and 24, y'all ain't beating us.
So I want to make a statement. I have been covering and watching the National Basketball Association for a long, long, long time. I have never, ever seen anything like these Houston Rockets.
Nope.
I have never, ever seen a game won the way that game was won last night. And back to Jenny's question, I was bullish on the Rockets back in December and January and February, back in the good old days pre-pandemic. And now I think I've gone a little higher. We used to do this question back in the good old days, and I think I would give them a 6 as a threat. I'm up to an 8 today.
Okay, you 8. You're a little better than I am.
Because of their defensive grit and mental toughness. I'm talking about defensive, because they mess you up. They steal your basketball. They deflect your passes. They get in your way. They are thorns in your side. They are the lice in your hair. You just can't seem to get a clean possession against these guys, because James and Russ will get their hands on your basketball. James Harden, the stat of the night, the unsung, sort of underreported stat of the night, he had 6 steals last night. That's what turned the tide in this game. So back to your point. This team got out-rebounded by 29. This team missed 40 three-point shots, and about 35 of them were what I call wide-open threes.
PJ,
like just corner threes where you're just, and it's the simplest three-point shot.
The short corner, too.
It's the short corner three-point, and PJ, according to ESPN, came out at halftime and just kept shooting it until he finally got frustrated with himself at halftime and sat down and said, I'm short from the short corner. And yet he came right out of halftime and made his first 2. And then later in the game, he made another crucial one. So, again, he did not shoot it very well. James Harden didn't shoot it well.
No.
So
James kind of got in foul trouble, which kind of threw him off. He had those 4 quick ones.
Yeah, but, you know, look what Giannis did to James in their head-to-head matchup. Giannis goes 36 and 18. James had 24 points, but he did it most of his damage from the free throw line.
Yes.
Okay, so if I give you those numbers, if I had called you after the game and for whatever reason you had not watched the game, and I said, hey, Shea, guess what happened? They got out-rebounded by 29 and they missed 43.
What Giannis do?
Yeah, and he had 36 and 18. What would you say?
Oh, they blew him out.
It's a blowout. Yeah. And the first 5 minutes of this game felt like a blowout to me, and I thought, this is going to get ugly.
Right.
Nope, they kept scratching and they kept clawing and they battled back into the game, and then they just kept turning up the heat on the Bucks. The Bucks would go down there and just bully them. Of all people, Brook Lopez, who's the nicest guy in the league, he just bullying them in the fourth quarter.
He was looking like Shaq down there.
Hey, just give me the ball. I'll just wheel and deal. And it's not like he's going to tear the rim down. He's making little hook shot, little 2-foot hook shots. And you know what I'm yelling at D'Antoni? Because he's got Tyson Chandler on his bench. And I love Tyson Chandler. I know he's 37 years of age in his 19th season. Right. But Tyson Chandler is 7 feet 1 inch tall. Right. And I thought, maybe give him 3 or 4 minutes just to disrupt the Bucks a little bit, just to make Brook Lopez say, uh-oh, I guess I got to kick it back out.
Skip, the way I look at it, looking at D'Antoni, he thinks anybody that comes in there that can't shoot 3 disrupts their offense. That's why he stayed with it, because I'm saying the exact same thing. I'm like, Skip, they got killed on the offensive glass 17-6.
What?
I mean, it's like Giannis was playing volleyball. He tipped it to Lopez. Lopez tipped it to Giannis. Giannis tipped it to Middleton. Middleton tipped it. I'm like, dude, y'all got to do something.
You got to do something. And all they did was they kept stealing the ball. When have you ever heard of a Mike D'Antoni team that focused on the defensive end? I don't know why. I don't know who's driving this train. I don't know if it's James in the locker room. I don't know if it's Russ. But they are both committed on the defensive end. Listen, James made a couple plays on sort of semi-breaks on Giannis where he got in his way. Right. He bodied him up and beat him to a spot and made him switch hands, and then all of a sudden the basketball is loose and it's up in the air. So look what happened down the stretch. Do you realize they fell behind by 8 points with 3 minutes left?
Yep.
8 points with 3 minutes left.
I thought it was over.
And so did I. And guess what? Here are the Bucks' possessions after that. They go Middleton turnover, then they go George Hill turnover, then they go Giannis turnover, then Middleton misses a 3, then they miss another 3, then all of a sudden, Brook Lopez gets a little lay-in, and then Giannis gets a little finger roll lay-in. But then here we go again with Giannis turnover, and then at the end, Chris Middleton missed 2 threes. And the Rockets screwed up the one possession because they had a foul to give, and they should have just fouled him, and they let him just walk right into a wide-open 3, but he missed it.
Right.
Which, by the way, quick comment on the other team, the Beast of the East. I keep telling you, am I sold on the Bucks? No, I'm not sold on their overall team mentality. I know they're missing little Bledsoe and Connaughton for what it's worth, but still, am I trusting this? Because, listen, there's a really good shooter on the other team. You know who he is.
Yeah.
And he ain't there either.
Oh, Gordon. Yeah. But
Eric
Skip,
Gordon.
I mean, the Bucks, they shot 35 threes and made 9. Mm-hmm. Skip,
but look what they got outscored because still the visiting team, or I guess, no, that were they home team? I don't know what they were. But
the Rockets were home, what?
Yeah, maybe they were. But the Rockets made 21.
Yeah.
So they outscored them by 12. They made 12 more threes just because they took so many. And remember, that was the most threes attempted, tied for the most in a regular season game that didn't go overtime in history.
Right.
Okay? And I saw another stat, by the way, where in the history of the NBA, a team that got out-rebounded by that many and shot under 40% has never won a game. It's been done 177 times, and all 177 lost the game.
Let that sink in.
Yeah. Well, think about it. This is impossible how they did this.
You get out-rebounded by 29. You shoot less than 40% from the floor. You shoot less than 35% from the 3.
Yeah.
And you still win the game in which you give up a 36-18, a 27-12, and a 23-12 from their 3 best players. That's what you gave up, and you still won the game.
Interesting. So guess what happened on Friday night? It was Houston versus Dallas. Great matchup, big confrontation between 2 in-state rivals.